7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Greetings and salutations. Happy Tuesday evening to you all. This is your councilman reporting in. Apologies for not being able to do a watch along, but we are here for the post show. That is right, NXT post show, CW NXT tonight. And I don't know if it was just me, but NXT kind of had some very like Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown kind of vibes, right? Maybe it's just me, but like that's what it was feeling like tonight. It was really giving me like, yo, this is some main roster type of programming tonight. We saw a lot of story, a lot of aftermath from Deadline being shown here on tonight's episode. So let us jump into it. Opening of the show, we had Giulia come out. Of course, Giulia is the Women's Iron Survivor Challenger match. She will be getting a title match against my client, Roxanne Perez, at New Year's Evil, January 7th in Los Angeles. And so she did come out to address facing Roxanne. And then, of course, my client had to come out to defend herself because, as we said, like, you know, congratulations to Giulia winning the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge match. Very cute. Very cute. But as we know, you got a mountain to climb if you think you're going to dethrone my client, the current and greatest NXT Women's Champion in NXT history. Dang near the best women's champion in the world right now. Just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there. That's your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler. I'm just letting it be known. And so also too, you know, it was some hints given that, you know, Giulia may not make it to Deadline. And as that was being thrown around, Cora Jade comes out of the crowd. Not a bat, but I guess a pole of some kind that she's reworked with barbed wire and stuff. You know, something to the effects of signature Cora Jade. And then hinted at the fact that, you know, Stephanie Vaquer, who seems to be Giulia's tag team partner, wasn't going to be able to assist tonight. And the reason why they knew that, because Cora Jade had attacked Stephanie Vaquer, which they showed on the screen. She was out of commission. And so Giulia got jumped, but not for too long, because of course, you know, here comes the savior, the John Cena of NXT, Kalani Jordan, as far as like faces, not like career-wise, just, you know, the ultimate face. And that's what it's seeming like Kalani is setting herself up to be. She comes out there to the what she come out there? I'm sorry. She came out there to defend Giulia against Cora Jade and Roxanne, which would lead to our main event of the night, tag team match between Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, and Giulia and Kalani Jordan. So that was the opening of NXT, which I thought was great. Like I said, it reminds you of like a Monday Night Raw when, you know, a Seth Rollins comes out, and, you know, kind of how we did when we got Sammy versus Seth in the main event. Like, it really felt like a Monday Night Raw or SmackDown type of feel in NXT tonight. And it didn't stop because it kept on rolling. And I really enjoyed it. We got a little bit of a interaction between OTM and the new Quarter Catch crew. And so it's looking like that's going to be something that's going to be shaping up into a new rivalry of such, I think, maybe, you know, kind of some mixed tag action between the tag teams and the women of both factions. Charlie Dempsey, I think, is going to be a little bit busy taking on Lexis King in the future for a Heritage Cup title match that Charlie Dempsey has granted Lexis King. Lexis King kind of on this new path, if you will, this new path of higher being. And again, it's going to be very interesting to see what it leads to. But as that was going on, we were getting prepared for the match between Javon Evans and Wes Lee. Now, if you did not stay or stick around for Deadline, right when the ending of Deadline was coming up, Javon Evans and Wes Lee had kind of an exchange during Javon's interview. Wes Lee actually snuck his ass with a cheap shot, which led to tonight's match. And just, of course, it was bouncy. It gave us everything we needed between these two. Wes Lee convincing me a little bit more into the heel type of standpoint that he has. What's going on, Samoan Watchman? I actually like, that's a dope name. Sounds like a comic book character. More into the character. He's leading more into this heel character, and it's starting to convince me a little bit more of Wes Lee's heel change. Javon Evans did, though, pick up the victory. Very fun match to open the show with. Like I said, it checks off all the boxes that it needed. I think both of them came out strong. I hope that this rivalry does continue. I hope it continues and escalates a little bit more into something. I just like seeing the both of those people in the ring, and I think Javon Evans does learn something being in the ring with Wes Lee, and I think Wes Lee having this rivalry, kind of keeps him occupied while we still deal with the NXT Championship matches that are going on. So after the match, Javon seals his victory, which again I say I like. We go into the back locker room, and we are watching a majority of the superstars watching the interview that All Ego Ethan Page had, kind of seeming a little lost after losing the men's Iron Survivor Challenge. Not sure where to go after this, losing all the opportunities to be able to go after the NXT title. It kind of puts him in the back of the line, and it wonders what is next for him. What does he do? And so Tony D'Angelo sees this and kind of feels bad for him and offers him a challenge to take him on for the North American Championship tonight. And then, of course, Ethan, who is the all-ego maniac himself, at first shoots him down, says, you know what, that's a little step below my pay grade. You know what I'm saying? I was NXT champion. Now you want me to come down a couple of floors and go to your level? Like, no, I'm cool. Tony D'Angelo shrugs it off and says, man, then I can issue this to be an open challenge. And, of course, the majority of the people in the room circling around the champion, Ethan Page, though, accepting the match before someone else could. And so then NXT now gets a North American title match tonight, which, again, very Monday Night Raw type of feel. Just very random off of the heels of Deadline. It's like, hey, yo, yeah, I'm going to give you a title match. And then so we move into some tag team action, which I was very glad to see. We had Hank and Tank versus Tyreek and Tyson DuPont. We've seen both of these tag teams in the Battle Royal that was going to determine the number one contenders to face Fraxium at Deadline, which, of course, was the No Quarter Catch crew. And so, if you watch the Battle Royal, Tyreek and Tyson are, a little bit on different pages, Tyreek has that hunger. Tyson seems like he's just glad to be here. Very glad to be here. And nothing wrong with either personality. I think both of them, if they can get on the same page when it comes to stuff, they can be a phenomenal tag team. These men is mad. These boys is massive. All right. Might have to invite them to the Big Back Barbecue. You know what I'm saying? But they took on Hank and Tank. Hank and Tank, another group that also can make it to the Big Back Barbecue, becoming a favorite. It's kind of like what Heavy Machinery was supposed to do, and then they broke them up. So now we kind of I feel like what we wanted from Heavy Machinery, we're now getting from Hank and Tank. And Hank and Tank are just killing it. They are a crowd favorite. They always have the crowd hyped and pumped, and no type of disappointment in this match either. I was very glad to see these two tag teams highlighted tonight on television. That was also something Booker T had I had mentioned during commentary of this match, being able to make it onto the live television programming like this speaks volumes. And then picking up a win, as he said, is like gold for you, which it very much is. And I was just glad to see it that we're still into this tag team division, that it shows that, hey, no, we're still paying attention to it, we're still focused on it, and being able to allow these two tag teams to have a match based off of just a little interaction that happened during the battle royal speaks volumes of how serious they are about displaying the tag teams and making the tag team titles as relevant as they need to be, especially when you have the champions like Fraxium, who are seeming a little unbeatable right now and everything. Hey, Lewis Johnson, man, hope you had a great birthday as well. Thank you for tapping in with me. We're talking about this post-show, of course, for NXT. We're just talking about the match between Hank and Tank versus Tyreek and Tyson. Very great match. Very great match, I will say, with them showing OTM and a no quarter cash true. It just continues to elevate the tag team division. And I look forward to seeing these stories continue to develop. What's going to happen between like Tyreek and Tyson? Is Tyson going to start to get kind of a more killer instinct, or is he going to get Tyreek to kind of ease up a little bit? With Hank and Tank on this momentum, like, who else do they need to beat to be the next in line for a tag team title shot? Because they are starting to become a favorite. So I feel like we're going to have another number one contenders match for the tag team titles very soon. If it's not like a tornado tag match or something, but I have a feeling we're going to get another one of those, because we see a lot of these tag teams chomping at the bit. But we do know that the tag team championships will be defended very soon, and we're going to get into that in just a little bit. We had my newest client after Hank and Tank picked up the victory against Tyreek and Tyson DuPont. My client, the big back general himself, the ruler, Oba Femi, comes out. Of course, he is the winner of the men's Iron Survivor Challenge. And let me just be one to say, we've been waiting to see him and Trick interact, and they definitely made us remember and let it be known that these two have not crossed paths. These two have not really seen one another, and they gave us everything we needed for this first interaction. And oh my God, I gotta say it, not just because he's my client, but Oba Femi was standing on business in this promo, letting him know the only reason why there's a Trick error is because I allowed it. And if you look at Trick eyes and everybody that was in there, including myself, where's the lie? Where is the lie? I'm not even go front. Where is the lie? If Oba Femi wanted that NXT title, Oba Femi would have had NXT title. And now it seems like he does want it. So it is very curious as to what's going to happen in Los Angeles at the first top of the new year, as these two will go head to head with the NXT title on the line. But we had a returning superstar, Eddie Thorpe, came out. You know, Eddie Thorpe was attacked, unable to compete in the Iron Survivor Challenge this past Saturday on Deadline. So, of course, he's a little upset and wanted to point the finger at Oba Femi. And Oba Femi quickly shot that down real quick. Hey, look, listen, wasn't me. And I ain't talking about the Shaggy song. Wasn't me. I really didn't do it, okay? Wasn't me. And somehow, though, after this exchange between Oba Femi and Trick Williams, Eddie Thorpe gets in front of Trick Williams, starts to kind of lean on this, you know, hey, you're not the person I thought you were. I thought you were a locker room leader. And Trick gives him a cheap shot, not even, you know, a stiff hit to the chin, and then lets Eddie Thorpe know, hey, you know what? If you want a title match, if you think you can do it, if you think I'm slipping, you think I can't hold on to this title, see me next week then. See me next week for a championship match. So we have a championship match between Eddie Thorpe and Trick Williams next week. It's wild in these streets, man. I told y'all, Monday Night Vibes is what I was getting. Monday Night Raw vibes is what I was getting from this show, and it kept delivering every single time. We also had more tag team action. Ooh, excuse me. We had more tag team action in the women's division. We had Fatal Influence of JC Jane and Jasmine Nix taking on Gigi Dolin and Tatum Paxley. And of course, another very fantastic tag team match. It was great to see. Great to see this faction and how they're mixing them up with some of the superstars, Gigi Dolin and Tatum Paxley. Tatum Paxley always putting on the show every single time. Up in here. Yes, Boza. And Boza is saying it right. Tag team action was the name of the episode. It felt like, yes, it was. No, it really was like, hey, as I was explaining with the Hank and Tank and Tyreek and Tyson DuPont match, like it really shows you that we're still focusing on tag teams. We're really focusing on building the tag team division up, especially allowing those two tag teams to have their match, and even to be able to see this between the women of Fatal Influence and Gigi Dolin and Tatum Paxley. Like I said, very Monday Night Raw type of vibes on NXT tonight. Now, I am concerned about the whole Gigi Dolin thing. It's just like, listen, I don't want them to fall back into her and JC Jane. Like there was an exchange that Fatal Influence had in the locker room where, you know, JC Jane was hinting at Gigi Dolin being obsessed with her. But then Fallon Henley mentions that Gigi seems like she's just trying to go after my title. Little slight friction there, but, you know, Jasmine Nix is in the middle to kind of make sure, like, you know, to remind them none of that matters. But I feel like that was something very great to point out, and I hope that they pull on that thread and allow her to go after Fallon Henley. Like, I think Gigi Dolin is a great candidate to face Fallon Henley next for the NXT North American title. I do believe so. And I think if in guiding her that way, it allows us to not have to do this JC Jane thing. Because it's like, listen, I get that happened. Let's let it go. Let's let it go. Something that kind of Bonner mentioned, I don't necessarily agree with this one, but he has a point that leads to what I'm saying with this. That whole Gigi Dolin and JC Jane thing was like part of 2.0. That was a 2.0 story. Gigi's been gone. We're in the black and silver era. So let's just have them let her focus on the women's North American title, especially since that wasn't there when Gigi was around. And now that she's back, I'm like, I think it is a perfect way for her to get back and suited in the fold. So I am hoping to see that. But it was a great match. Fatal Influence doing exactly what they're supposed to do, playing the perfect heels in this match, picking up the win against Gigi Dolin and Tatum Paxley, coming in, letting the numbers run, jumping her. And then one thing during this match, before the ending happened, I want to point out that Booker T is a real one for this one. Booker T is a real one for this one, okay? Because on commentary, it was so funny how they was dancing around just saying toxic attraction. They were so much dancing because remember how he said, oh, you know, being part of one of the greatest tag teams, and Booker T was like, no, it's one of the greatest factions. All right, let's call it for what it is. I was like, that's right, Booker. That's right. Stop being scary, man. Y'all wrong for that, man. Give Mandy Rose her fucking flowers, yo. Don't be trying to X her out of the damn history books, man. We already know that it was a faction. We know the three people that was in there. You just don't have to mention her. Like you just didn't have to say you could be like one of the greatest factions. You could have said toxic attraction, but you trying to make it seem like it's not there. Shout out to Booker T for not allowing that lady to lose her spot in NXT history. That was some real shit right there, Booker, and I appreciate that. But Fatal Influence is jumping Gigi Dolin and Tatum Paxley after picking up the victory. And to Bose's point, it's like toxic attraction is almost a cursed word since Mandy and those pictures happened. Exactly. Like, don't. Like, it's not like what happened with Odyssey Jones. Like, again, I get, okay, we might not want to mention him due to what's happening. This is just like a violation of contract because you have an OnlyFans. Now, while I get it, things must be paid. That doesn't mean that she can't be mentioned. That doesn't mean that it can't be said in some type of way. That's just my opinion, though. But as they were jumping Gigi Dolin and Tatum Paxley, we got to see a returning Shotzi coming down the ring and providing aid to Gigi Dolin and Tatum Paxley, another group of women into a dope rivalry. Again, I like how they're finding ways to keep everybody in rotation and being able to keep majority of these people on television somehow. I'm liking how this is working. If they're not in a tag team, let's get them into a little minor trio group. Let's put a couple of tag team folks together so people keep getting their shine. I am enjoying seeing that. I was like, I like how they are writing this stuff in. I was like, yo, it was dope to see. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of glad Shotzi is back in NXT. To Bozo's point, yep, SmackDown Shotzi returned. I wonder if she will be sent to NXT via the transfer portal. To be honest with you, I think she already was in NXT. I think she made her way back to NXT, and then they kind of put her on that YouTube content thing with Scarlett. But I remember, memory serves me correct, the last time I had saw Shotzi was on NXT. But I could be wrong. But Bozo, you are a historian, so check. But I, for one, hope that she's back on NXT. I would love for her to kind of, like just polish those moves a little bit more, in the ring. She was getting better the last time I saw her. So hopefully, NXT would be a great play. And to be honest with you, women wise, I think it's a great place for her to be, because she also did kind of come up in that 2.0 era, a little bit also in a tad bit of the black and gold era. So I would like Shotzi to make some concrete history in NXT. Like, I would love to see her get a belt in NXT. Like the Women's North American Championship. I think Shotzi would be dope to be a champion in that caliber, just to get her more established and more ready. To Bozo's point, yeah, she came to NXT in February to dethrone NXT Women's Champion Lyra Valkyria. She injured her knee. She was supposed to qualify for the Chamber. Yeah, so see, if she was already there, I think they may have just kept her there, which is very smart, because this is another person that is coming into NXT where you didn't have a women's North American title. So you didn't have two divisions for the women outside of, like the tag teams, to where these women can actually build and develop their character, their ring set, and show why they can potentially become a world champion and carry the brand. So I'm glad to see Shotzi back here so we can see if, that comes to fruition. But I'm rooting for the best for her, Gigi Dolin, of course, Tatum Paxley. I look forward to seeing this kind of weird duo of misfits taking on the Mean Girls, which is Fatal Influence. And then more curious as to who will get the title shot to Fallon Henley between these three. So it'll be very interesting to see. But after that match, we got a chance to get to see the tag champions, Fraxium, and it's kind of becoming the odd couple a little bit. A little bit of miscommunication on their end. Nathan Frazier feeling a little bit bad about not keeping his end at deadline, as the key word that was used for their match was survived, which is exactly what it was. They survived with the tag team championships. But Nathan Frazier felt a little bad, so he wanted to go talk to Ava to find a way to make it up to Axiom. Axiom kind of felt bad about what happened with him in the Iron Survivor Challenge. So it seems that they both went to talk to Ava to try to help the other person out. And it seems to be that now the tables have turned moving into next week. If you remember at deadline, Nathan Frazier had to pull double duty with the tag team titles on the line and being in the men's Iron Survivor Challenge. Now it is going to be Axiom in the double duty hot seat next week, as he will be taking on my client, Oba Femi, and will be defending the tag team titles in the same night against Gallus. And let me tell you something, Gallus ain't nothing to play with. No quarter catch crew ain't nothing to play with either. But them boys in Gallus have been itching to get them tag team titles back. And to see kind of how Fraxium is not always on the same page, and it's seeming to be a little bit of like injuries, not injuries. Let me not say that because I hate to wish that on any of them or bring it into the air, but kind of run down a little run down from defending these titles. Still licking their wounds. Gallus may try to bring in that wolf-like mentality and strip them titles away from Fraxium next week. We just are going to have to see. Yes, to Bo's point, it's like a comedy show with Fraxium. My word for Fraxium versus Gallus. Gallus is no joke. Exactly. Gallus has held both versions of the NXT championships. When NXT UK was a thing, they were the tag team champions over there. Here is the here in the States, former tag champs once. Exactly. So Fraxium really has their hands full, especially Axiom, because he has to take on the ruler. And we have seen what my client does to people that like to get bouncy, that people that like to jump off of the top turnbuckle, bounce off of ropes. It's going to be a good match, though. It's going to be a good match. Axiom is still quite the opponent, but we know who win it. We know who win. We know who taking that L next week. Sorry, Axiom. So now we move into the North American title picture. Tony D'Angelo, Ethan Page. And shout out to NXT and CW finally bringing picture-in-picture back, because we definitely got to see the match while we were going on commercial. So glad that they brought that back. Once again, felt like Monday Night Raw on NXT. I'm just going to be honest. I don't know who wrote tonight's NXT, but it felt like, hey, this ain't. I think we got 3 flagship shows on Raw on WWE now: Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday. I mean, Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. But we had the NXT North American title on the line. Tony D'Angelo did pick up the victory. And just like this yawn that you can see, I'm gonna be honest with you. Tony don't have no juice. Tony don't have any juice. Not whatsoever. Boza, I don't feel like it was random at points. I feel like everything hit the way it needed to. Like we got a lot of development going on inside these stories at NXT. Like we got a lot to look forward to. So that's why I was like, I don't think it was random at all. I think it was very well put together. But yeah, bro, like when they announced Tony, no one stood up. No one stood up. No one cheered. Like we've heard them tonight. So it wasn't no bum crowd. Like Tony gets no juice. Like when he won, no one stood up and cheered. It was just like, yeah. Yo, cool. Shout out. I was like, you just beat Ethan Page. You just beat a former NXT champion. And that don't get you no pop? Like that did, like that, if that don't get you no pop, what does that say about you as the North American champion? What does that say about your character? Like, y'all, if you go back and watch that match, like, no one, maybe two people stood up. Everybody else was sitting down. And the reason why I know that is because everybody stood up when Shotzi came out. Everybody was up on their feet. And then when I looked at Tony D'Angelo, I was like, yo, this bro gets no juice. If they were on the road and that happened, Tony would have gotten a pop. That crowd in the PC loves Ethan. But it ain't even about loving Ethan, because they booed him as the heel he's supposed to be. You're the champ. No one's like even because again, even in Javon and Wes Lee's the heel, and they were still rooting for him. They were still rooting for Wesley. You would hear, let's go, Javon, let's go, Wes. Like, you heard something from them. You don't hear nothing when it comes to Tony. And so it just really scratches my head as to, like, what are we doing with that? What are we doing? I don't know. But Tony D'Angelo remained the champion. Ethan left abruptly from the arena. Not sure what's going on with him. Not sure what's going to be next. I hope he gets traded. I hope he goes to Raw. I hope he goes to Monday Night Raw. I feel like he is main roster ready. That's just me. And then we had also got an announcement that we're going to get more tag team action next week. A lot of stuff, again, a lot of good stuff happening. A lot of good stuff happening this week and happening next week. So Ruka and Delta are teaming up and will go up against Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson next week. So if you thought this week had a lot of stuff going on, even next week is going to be even more dope. We had a North American title shot this week. Next week, the NXT title is on the line. Like, this is insane. And we still had a main event we had to get to. And so we're going to talk about that, Logan James, because we know that we hear Cindil, the Shortery and EO Stare Down just hit 1 million, and yet Giulia and Roxy one is already at 500K. I mean, what do you expect when my client is involved? You know what I'm saying? Like, well, Cindil, of course. look what you wrote. Like, look who's in the video. I mean, did you expect anything else? My client gets results, okay? My client brings in numbers, brings in the hits. So this does not surprise me at all that they're already at 500K, because when you have the greatest women's champion on camera making clips, it's going to run the numbers. The whole world saw it. I hope Giulia is appreciative that that this happened as well. You know what I'm saying? Because we know she contributed, but we know. Okay. Yes, and we also, to Cindy, we have SmackDown, Saturday Night Main Event, Raw, and NXT in 5 days. Yes, we do. We have another gauntlet run. And you know what's crazy about it? We have so much television of wrestling coming out within these next couple of weeks, because I know we're going to also slow down. So it's like right after the Saturday Night Main Event and we move into this Monday and NXT, like we only got maybe 2 weeks off. And then we're right back jumping in the gun again. Like, it's literally like, okay, go take a break. 1st of January, boom, New Year's Eve, Los Angeles. Boom, Raw. And Monday Night Raw. It's like, yo, it's craziness. As a matter of fact, I think Monday Night Raw is first, then NXT New Year's Eve. Like, it is going to be something crazy. And I'm going to be honest with you. When is New Year's Eve? Hold on. I'm going to tell you, when is New Year's Eve? New Year's Eve is on the 6th. No, it's on the 7th. Oh, it's on the 7th. Giulia's not winning. I'm letting you know that now. I don't think Giulia's going to win. Because Giulia needs to win at a PLE. She has to defeat Roxanne at a PLE. And I don't see them dropping the women's championship on a regular NXT night, even if it is this. I'm just like, hey, Boza, listen, Boza. I just want you to really think about that based off of what we've talked about with Giulia. Giulia has been given so much hype, that why would she win it at a regular taping? You get what I'm saying? Like, she is PLE worthy of taking this title. My client is PLE worthy of losing this title. You don't lose it on Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? This is not the North American Championship. I just want you to think about that. Just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. And then you still got the ruler as well. Got to go up against him. Come on, man. I would think she would only win it at a regular TV show because if Roxanne gets sent up via the transport portal, that's it. Hold on. I think Roxanne losing at New Year's Eve will make sense if they want to put her into a Mania match. No, because like to Boza's point, Cynthia, you still got Vengeance. You still got Vengeance coming up. Vengeance is coming up, so she can still do it there. And again, and then two, I'm saying that to the point of it's not even about Roxanne as much. It's more about Giulia. Like it's the same thing now with Cody and his story. Like, yo, Giulia has to win this at a PLE. It has to be. It has to be in a big ass stadium or arena. And that's where she has to win the title. She has to win it at an actual PLE. I really feel like she would need to. Roxy needs a vacation. She can get a vacation after Stand and Deliver. Listen, we're about to hit the road to WrestleMania. You don't get no break. We're on the road to WrestleMania in 3 weeks. We're on the road to Stand and Deliver in 3 weeks. Roxanne can break after that. Roxanne can take a break after that. Like, you don't go into the new joint. Because if you think about it too, let me hit y'all with a little honesty. I'm going to hit y'all with a little honesty, okay? So let's strategize this out. I'm going to read a few of them. I know Professor brought it up, that theory yesterday. He thought Giulia wins, so it sets up Giulia and Stephanie too at Mania weekend for the title. Here's the thing. I think that's too rushed. I think we're rushing that too much either. Roxanne making it to New Year's Eve would have her as the 5th longest reigning NXT champion in history at 270 days. Exactly. Here's my thing. I think giving her a break before she gets a number 30 spot pop at the Rumble. She can still do that. That's what I'm saying. Like we not that far from the Rumble. We like what 7 weeks out from the Rumble? Like, and then she go get a Christmas break. So that's your break right there. They going on Christmas break. So that's a break right there before coming back. Here's the reason why I say this though. Currently where we're seeing everything at. This is the reason why I say her call up doesn't make sense yet, as opposed to Trick Williams going up. One, with where she sits at as the NXT Women's Champion, there is no spot currently where Roxanne fits in just yet. If we just being honest. There is no spot where Roxanne fits in right now. Because let's think about it. And I'm not just saying this because of my client. I'm just saying this for anybody, even to a Giulia that would hold the record, if she were to hold the record like Roxanne has and has a historic run like Roxanne. You don't take folks like that, then move them into the women's intercontinental picture, do you? Or the women's U.S. championship picture, do you? Someone like that, right? Don't they instantly get put into the women's title picture? Like the women's world heavyweight title and the women's the WWE women's title? And look who's holding those right now, and look at the rivalries that those are in. We still have the Jade Cargill story that we got to set up. So we have that whole thing going on SmackDown. Plus, you still have my other client that's Miss Money in the Bank. Go over to Monday Night Raw. You still got this Rhea Liv situation. And not to mention Becky Lynch is coming back. You don't have a lot of spots for Roxanne to fit in, even if you give her number 30. Is Roxanne there yet to be a headliner for WrestleMania? Even I don't know if she's ready to pull numbers like that. Not saying she's not saying she can't do it. I'm just saying for us to really realistically look at where we're at. We're putting a lot on an NXT superstar that's 23 years old on the road to WrestleMania in Vegas, one of the biggest ones so far. You got potentially Rock, you got Cena, you got CM Punk. Like, you got to really think about that. Where does she go? You see, I want Chelsea to win Money in the Bank, but I feel like Roxy gets it. That, again, by the time we get there, makes the most sense. But also, too, Chelsea winning the U.S. title at Saturday Night Main Event. Now that Naomi ain't won, I'm rooting for my client. Chelsea about to win that. It's Chelsea's time. So you see, Chelsea's occupied. So if she were to win Money in the Bank, that'd be very dope. But again, let's see. Roxanne has done a lot in NXT, though. She's already 2-time NXT Women's Champion. Booker was gloating at the end of the main event, even though Roxy didn't score the fall. Yes, but you still got to let that story finish out. You still got to let that go a full calendar year all the way up to Stand and Deliver. Because again, if you think about it, once that WrestleMania world is over, she can be that one. She can be that one that goes into the Monday after Raw or SmackDown. But trying to catapult her now when it's such a big flux that's going on for WrestleMania, I don't see a spot that naturally puts itself in there for Roxanne for it to happen. You get what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have her jump a lot of people in line if you try to bring her up now. Because again, once you bring her up, guess who she's going to start facing? You're going to face all the women in the Intercontinental division. So she's going to face Lyra Valkyria. She's going to face Zelina Vega. She's going to face Zoe Stark. And because, again, she still has to build her reputation on Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown. So building that up that doesn't guarantee she gets a spot at WrestleMania. That doesn't guarantee that. It doesn't guarantee that we see her at the Showcase of the Immortals. What we do know that's a guarantee is that she will be at the fucking main event of Stand and Deliver, which, mind you, a woman has not headlined yet, which would be another accolade for Roxanne to have. Being a part of the main event of Stand and Deliver, that would be the final one before she dips. Especially with the way NXT is moving now. Come on, how would she not be a part of that? To what? To might get a match at WrestleMania? To might get one? Or what? She wins the Mae Young Classic? Or whatever the battle royal is, and if they even still do that. So you see what I'm saying? Like, I know y'all saying like she got a great run and stuff like that, but it's like, yo, let her finish it. Let her finish it. Believe me, Giulia is going to be a champion. There's no doubt in my mind. So is Stephanie Vacour. All of them are going to be a champion. But we still in the era of Roxanne Perez. And we got to let her finish that. True, Roxy will get a main roster one day. I think people are so done with her as champion that they want her via transport. Hey, I did the same shit with Roman. We did the same thing with Roman Reigns. So that's why it don't bother me. It's like a give and take. Roxanne only being 23 and what she had accomplished is insane, but you don't want to rush her. She hasn't hit her prime. She hasn't. That's what I'm saying. It's like, yo, it's a very delicate process. See, I feel like we might get a Kevin Cena angle with Roxanne where she goes up against a super face of the company like a returning Charlotte. That, again, that's possible. That is a possible thing. That's a big gamble. That is a big gamble. And then even to like what you just said, for a Charlotte, Charlotte would have to want to sacrifice a WrestleMania spot to do that. And with Charlotte coming back and they got new titles, the World Heavyweight Championship and the WWE Women's Championship, Charlotte going to want to go right back into there. Becky Lynch is going to want to go right back into there. So then who's a big name that you face? You see what I'm saying? Like, we got too much stuff tied up right now for her to find placement because we tired of her being, well, y'all tired, excuse me, because y'all tired of her being champion. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't see a smooth transition into there at this point in time because there's a transfer portal. That's like now sending Giulia up after she do New Year's Eve. Like, oh, well, she did that. Now I can send her to Monday. So what, she can get put in damage control and then that's it? No. We got to let her fit. Like, again, if Cody got to finish his damn story, you going to let my client finish her story. Okay? And her story is headlining Stand and Deliver. They only created this portal to appease Netflix. That's it. And it's just the ones that they know bring the biggest draw out. That's who they all want to go to Netflix. That's it. So that's why, again, to Professor's point, I can see Trick Williams and Lash Legend going up. I can see Ethan Page going up. But right now, you have the greatest women's division in the world right now still being curated. And the pinnacle of all of what they've done this year is at Stand and Deliver. Because if you let's really think about this. Let's really think about this for a second. And again, this goes back to what we're talking about as far as which road do you want to take? This is going to be the first Stand and Deliver where the majority of matches are women. Because even if we look at the stories now till we get there, we got the NXT title, tag team title, and the North American title. Right now, outside of these three titles, there is not a single solitary rivalry going on that we want to see make Stand and Deliver. And that is even including Javon and Wes Lee. They're great on Tuesdays. It is not getting me there for Stand and Deliver. Stand and Deliver is going to be a majority of women's matches. This culminates everything they've been doing this year. There's no way you do that and Roxanne Perez is not a part of that picture. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say it. Like, I know y'all ready, but it would cap off everything these women have done if she's able to step down and Stand and Deliver. I'm telling y'all, like, that sounds so much better than getting thrown into the shuffle of the road to WrestleMania and potentially being in a tag team match with some big face at WrestleMania. That ain't where Roxanne need to be. Remember, man, Roxanne still needs to develop herself in Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. And coming after WrestleMania is a perfect time. And then again, too, she didn't got to come right after. Because to Cindy's point, after Stand and Deliver, go take a break. Go take a break. Come back in July. Come back in June before Money in the Bank. Come in June. Make a big-ass impact. That's all I'm saying. Again, y'all can take it as how y'all see it. Look at both roads and which one make more sense. Which one make more sense? Most I agree after tonight, either page definitely going via the portal. The question is, does it go to Raw to get does Raw get him? Yeah, Raw's gonna get him because he gotta take on CM Punk. We still got that exchange to go in. He's gonna do great on Monday Night Raw. But actually, too, man, I could see him on SmackDown. I'm not gonna even lie too. So you know what? If LA Knight goes to Raw, Ethan Page gonna go to SmackDown. That's been my point. They need to do Evolution 2. It's almost at the point women's main roster NXT every week. Yeah, but that Stand and Deliver, that's what does it. That's what's the final ribbon on us getting Evolution in 2025. That's why that stand and deliver has to happen like that. It has to captivate like that. I feel like the men need a Shotzi moment. They getting there. That's the thing I also said too. That's why I was like, I'm gonna stop calling the men's division mid in NXT. They're building and they getting there. Everybody needed a reset. We had a point where we had to do that with the women. The women had to get a reset too, and now they are thriving better than ever. It'll be the same thing with the men. They got potential there. It just got to keep getting worked out. And I think in the order that they're doing it makes more sense of getting the women strong and getting the tag team division strong. So then that way it can take away from just the singles men's division and help them build that up a little bit better as to see who's going to be the next guys that go after it. I get it. Plus, typically, she shouldn't hit her prime for another 3 to 4 years. There's a possibility a women's match could main event their Mania. Exactly. Yeah. So that's why it's just like I get y'all ready to have it done and everything like that. But I'm just giving y'all the option. Thanks for giving us a space where we could decide this. This was a good discussion. You're welcome, Boz. Hey, you know I'm gonna defend my client. I'm gonna always defend my client. Because she is the greatest women's world champion out right now. Okay, PWI got it wrong, and they know they did. We've had a discussion. They've got my letters. But the main event was tag team action. Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, Giulia, Kalani Jordan. Great exchange, great main event. Was just what it was supposed to be. Checked off the boxes for everything. What I loved about it was it told the story, continued to tell the story of Giulia, Roxanne, both of them squabbling from outside the ring going into the back. And I was so glad that how it ended with Cora Jade picking up the victory against Kalani Jordan. And I gotta be honest, I'm hoping this keeps the three of them busy, because we also saw Stephanie McCool try to come get her lick back from Cora Jade. So I'm hoping we get Cora Jade versus Stephanie McCool next week. I hope we're going to get that too. But I'm so glad she picked up the victory against Kalani Jordan, because Cora Jade needed that. Cora Jade been taking a lot of L's since she got back. But I'm so glad that she picked up the victory, because she needed it. She needed it, especially in that match, especially with who she pinned, especially after the smack that Kalani Jordan was talking about. I hope they run it back. I hope we start getting some matches with them, just like how we're getting with Jada and Lola. Very surprised that they showed Jada tonight, but they didn't show Lola. Very, very interesting that we didn't really get anything as far as that goes, but maybe they're saving that for next week. But that was very interesting to see that Jada was here, but Lola wasn't. So we'll see what that leads to. But I'm so glad that Cora picked up the victory, as well as my client. And again, like I said, it's shaping up. It's shaping up. Cindile asks, who do you think attacked Jade at this point? I think it's Naomi. I think, because if you think about it, look at all the good people that did turn heel. She would be the biggest heel turn of 2025 outside of the New Day. Like, we're watching it. We're watching it happen. You saw New Day flip. You saw DIY flip, more to the point of Johnny Gargano flipping. Yo, Naomi going heel, and I've said this before, going from feel the glow to fear the glow. I think Naomi attacked Jade, and I think what's going to happen and what's going to confirm that for me is if Bianca Belair makes Naomi the tag team champion. If Naomi becomes tag team champions with Bianca Belair, she definitely did it. I'm like that. I'm just letting y'all know. If Bianca replaces Jade with Naomi, that's it. She did it. I promise you, she did it. And that would be the craziest heel turn that we can have in 2025. Because I know people are expecting Bianca, but it's like Bianca not ready for that. Bianca, I don't think Bianca being stuck between the middle of them makes for great storyline. It makes for great headway. And you already know too, because Bayley gonna be on Naomi's side. So then you got Bayley kind of in Naomi ear a little bit more. Just like, yo, I kind of get it. So, yep. And then, like you said, Cindil, that can set up Naomi versus Jade at 41. And I think that's great too, because all of us suspect it to be Bianca and Jade first. It's like, yo, man, let's not sleep on Naomi. It's a reason why they call them the big three. And if you think about it, that third one ain't been getting that pop like everybody else get between them two. We talk about them like they just made PWI's number one on the tag team championships. And she's a part of that. So it's funny. We're gonna see. But my pick is Jade. My pick is Naomi. Speaking of attacks, what about how we ended the show? Your client councilman may be meeting a different NXT champion in New Year's Evil. Yes. At the end of the show, Eddie Thorpe is signing his contract to face Trick Williams next week. And it comes to find out that we found out who attacked Eddie Thorpe, and it was none other than Eddie Thorpe. Supposedly he faked the whole thing, and click, clam, boom, it provided him a title shot, and he didn't have to go through the Iron Survivor match. And it's like, well, that worked. He had his own Johnny Gargano moment. I guess that worked. So a little anticlimactic for me, because we all know who I thought it was. I thought this was going to be the return of like Hikuleo. Not the return, the premiere of Hikuleo. It wasn't. But I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. It is, like I said, it's just a little anticlimactic. I was like, okay. And that's what we're doing. It's one of those things like, yeah. Because you thought you was like, it could have went one way, could have went another way. The way we thought it was going to go, it didn't go. One second. But he did get his title match. That did. So at the end of the day, that's the one thing we can say is that he did get his title match and he getting it next week. So to Boza, it was stupid. Why would Eddie qualify? But stage his own attack. That again, if you're trying to give the lure of Eddie Thorpe of whatever it is they're trying to push him to be, fine. And the name, like Cindil said, making his namesake proud. Is your client prepared if hell freezes over next week? That again, that's just gonna be even more easy work for my client. Because Eddie ain't Trick. And Trick even got something to worry about going up against my client. So if Eddie wants to make it easier for my client to become champion, why not? Why the F not? Do you? But that was the NXT post show today. I'm so glad that y'all jumped in and chatted with me. Cindil, Lewis, Chris, Boza, Finn Balor was in here. Appreciate you jumping in as well. We had some other cats in here too, the Samoan Watchmen jumping in and talking with me, and I really appreciate y'all. Logan James as well jumping in and talking. Tonight's NXT, I give it a solid 8 out of 10. Like I said, it gave me a really big feel of Monday Night Raw tonight. Great storytelling, great programming. I give it an 8 just because of that ending. I'm just like, yeah. So we shall see what happens with so many matches we got coming next week. Crystal Clare, like you said, 8 out of 10. Cindil, my last story of the night. It looks like Saray is returning to WWE. Who? Paige? Wait, who's Saray? Oh, boy, man. Don't mind me. I know exactly who you're talking about. She got red hair. And it's like right here. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. She be wearing red all the time. She was in NXT. My bad. I don't know why. I saw that and put a Y over there and just thought you was talking about Paige. I'm like, I guess I just want Paige to come back. But Saray coming back, that's big. Which 2, I guess, makes sense because of Wrestling Noah. Especially after watching that Josh Briggs vignette. It makes sense of her coming back, just like how he brought what's his face here. So I'm glad that also goes both ways for them, especially having Josh Briggs, Tavion Heights go over to Japan to kind of, get some chops for them and their career. I like to see that window was open for some of them also to come over to NXT and some returning to NXT. So I think that's dope. I think seeing Wrestling Noah benefit both ways is really cool to see. So that's dope. And I wonder who else may come over to NXT as well as this partnership continues, especially with Shinsuke Nakamura going back to wrestle. So congratulations, though. Can't wait to see her again. Another reason why my client got to be champ till stand and deliver. Okay. But I appreciate each and every one of y'all checking this out, this post show tonight. Always happy to be on here with y'all. Once again, sorry I did miss the watching long. LA traffic is crazy. Wasn't going to be able to make it on time, but I want to at least make sure that I did the post show so we can talk and we can chat. And then check in with us tomorrow. WWT Live will be happening. We're going to, for sure, talk about what happened on NXT, talk about what was going on with Raw, especially the Women's Intercontinental Championship qualifier matches with Lyra Valkyria advancing into it, Dakota Kai as well. Got a lot to talk about tomorrow, so make sure you tune in. And then Thursday as well, because we do have an announcement. TCW and PCW will be now going on Thursdays, and it will be bi-weekly. So 1 week you'll get PCW like you're getting this Thursday. Next week you'll be getting TCW. So, we're combining joining Thursday, so that way people had a weekend to themselves, but you will be getting some actions Monday through Friday. Want to appreciate y'all again for tapping in. Appreciate it, Cindy. I hope y'all have a great night and stay safe out there. See you tomorrow.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.